I need another project like I need a hole in the head. What have I done? So this is my new to me 2013 BMW X3 28i xDrive. And this is a new project. So I picked up this car off of Facebook Marketplace. It was listed as a mechanic special. I was not specifically looking for a new project. I was just leisurely browsing on Facebook Marketplace ads like I normally do to kill some time when I saw this pop up. It has about 150,000 miles. Now, since this is the 28i, it comes with the BMW 2-liter 4-cylinder motor that produces about 240 horsepower and somewhere in the range of 270 to 280 foot-pounds of torque. Why would I take on another project? And honestly, I didn't have time for another project, but the owner had it listed on Facebook Marketplace as a mechanic special for a very attractive price. So basically, the owner stated that the car is experiencing low oil pressure, which is obviously a red flag, and it could be a number of things. So first of all, in any other type of vehicle, you would immediately think rod bearings. But in these BMWs, they do experience some common issues with the timing chain system. Most notably, the plastic guides tend to get brittle and break, and were actually upgraded to a newer version within a couple of years of production. So I started to do some research, namely looking up YouTube videos for the steps involved in replacing the timing chain, as well as some other components on these motors. So I decided to go take a look at the vehicle. I did not want to test drive it or start it up. Any vehicle that has any sort of low oil pressure should not be started up or driven, or at least at the bare minimum. And one of the things that I noticed when we went to look at the car was that it has the M Performance package. So that doesn't mean any sort of factory motor upgrades or power adders or anything. But what it does mean is that it actually has a trim package. So things like the badge on the wheel, the door sills, the badge on the footrest, as well as the wheels. The car does come with factory paddle shifters, which is kind of cool. I don't know if it'll really be needed on this vehicle, but we'll see. In terms of the inside, it's pretty comfortable. And while it does have the M Performance package in terms of comfort and entertainment, it isn't super well optioned. It does not come with seat heaters, and it does have the base level iDrive system. So obviously, because this is a 2013, there is no Apple CarPlay, etc. And I'm also looking online to see if there's any sort of aftermarket options to be able to add some of those more modern conveniences to this vehicle. Otherwise, the interior is in pretty good shape. There are no cracks in the dash. This era of BMWs, as well as some other German vehicles such as Porsche, etc., they do suffer from sticky surfaces or sticky buttons. And the reason for that is the Germans didn't want to have people putting their hands on hard, cold plastic surfaces, so they put a coating on top of the plastic to be a little bit more pleasant to the touch. But that turned out to be a mistake. Here you can see, especially in the cup holder area, where some of that coating has worn off. It's also worn off on some of the parts of the iDrive and some of the buttons here, like the emergency brake. This button is actually cracked. I don't know if you can see it on camera, but I actually have two new buttons that I will be installing. So both the parking brake and the auto button behind it. So I'll show the replacement of those on a future video. Overall, the body is in pretty decent shape. There aren't any real big dents or dings. There was history, according to Carfax, of a small collision in both the front and the rear. So at the very minimum, it looks like if there was any damage in the front bumper or the rear bumper, they were replaced. Unfortunately, the paint job was not the greatest, so both the front and the rear bumper are going to need to be repainted. I'm not looking for a perfect job because this is a 2013. So for a car that is almost 13 years old, it wouldn't make sense to have perfect front and rear bumpers and have the rest of the car have a few flaws. So it's been a few days. It's actually Thanksgiving weekend, so I hope all of you viewers had a great Thanksgiving holiday and were able to spend it with friends and family. So what exactly am I going to be focusing on getting that car up and running and reliable? So eventually that car is probably either going to get sold or go to my daughter, who's going to be 16 in a few years. And the priority is going to be on the mechanical items. So I am going to start with the rod bearings. I'll take them off and inspect them, and regardless, I have a new set that I'll be putting on. Then I'm going to be focusing on the timing components and the oil pump components. So I will be getting new chains, guides, as well as all of the Vanos components. However, I don't have all of the parts in, so I'm going to be focusing on some of the cosmetic issues. So the car sat outside in a pretty wooded area for some time, and I've already washed it and used a clay mitt to remove anything that was embedded in the paint. It may not look like it right now because it's been a couple of weeks. But here you can see there are a few areas where some sap had gotten onto the hood and sat for quite some time. I did use some rubbing alcohol and WD-40 to get it as much off as I could, and you can't even tell by rubbing your finger across these spots that they're still there. So unfortunately, it looks like it's been embedded into the clear coat. So when it gets a little warmer, I may try to do a light wet sand with some 2500 or 3000 grit sandpaper, and then follow it up with a cut and buff to see if that helps. There are actually a couple of other spots that probably won't show up on camera, but it looks like somebody hit it with some sort of sandpaper in the past, so hopefully a cut and buff will remove those scratches as well. But since it's so cold out today, the last thing I want to do is play with buckets of soap and cold water. So I'm going to focus on the interior. So given that this has 150,000 miles, this seat bolster has definitely seen better days. So unfortunately, this is a type of synthetic leather that BMW used, and it does not look like you can get that material on its own. So my idea was to first take it to an auto upholstery place and see if they could match the material. But it almost looks like maybe somebody tried to do that in the past, and this just kind of started cracking and disintegrating. I did look on eBay to see if I could find another driver's side bottom cushion that was already covered that was in decent condition, but it looks like a lot of them are in the same type of shape. I did find out that the driver's side and the passenger side are the same part number. Therefore, I was able to pick up this, which is a used passenger seat lower cushion, and as you can see, it is in fantastic shape. There are no cracks, no issues to be found whatsoever. So what I'm going to do is replace this driver's cushion with this passenger seat cushion. So the first step is to remove this driver's seat, and I will put a tarp down and do the work right here in the sun so it's at least a little bit warmer. So step one, I'll need to basically move the seat all the way back, remove the two fasteners in the front, move it forward, and then get the two fasteners out on the back. I'll also need to remove this piece right here so that I can remove the seat belt. But before I remove the wiring connectors underneath, I am going to disconnect the battery in the trunk so that it does not throw any airbag codes, or have the airbag blow up in my face when I plug it back in. So the seat is held down by two T50 bolts in the front and then two in the back. So I'll get these removed, and then I will move the seat all the way up this way, go in through the back door to get those two bolts out of the back, and then try to get this panel off and this seatbelt off. And now it's time to disconnect the battery, which in the X3s is in the trunk, like it is on many European cars. And it's just a 10 millimeter on the top of the negative. I am going to put a rag down in between to make sure it doesn't accidentally connect while I'm up working on the front. So there I have the battery disconnected with a rag over the top. So now it's back to the seat. I have all 4 of the seat bolts out, and I've got the seat moved a little bit. So now I'm going to try to focus on getting this cover panel off so that I can remove the seat belt. Now, from what I have seen on other videos, getting this panel off can be quite a chore. You really kind of need to use like a 90-degree pick to get up and underneath and try to attach to one of the little clips that holds over a piece of metal. So I'm going to try to get that off, and we'll see how it goes. So this little piece is kind of a nightmare to get off. There is this tab that goes through this slot here. So the only way that I could get it off, because see, it slides in right there, so you can't just pop it off from the front or else you'll break it. So the way that I was able to do it is to jam a big screwdriver down through the slot and get it to where I could push on this end of this tab right here and push it down, and it just literally popped right out. Okay, I've got the seat out. It was not super light. I am first going to clean up the 13 years and 150,000 miles worth of debris that has fallen back in there. The little Chemical Guys automotive shampoo cleaner and hitting it one more time with a shop vac, and that looks a lot better. So let's get back to the seat. So for getting the seat bottom off, it's a matter of removing this panel and then pulling the bottom of the material off of a bunch of different rails, etc. So I have the plastic panel off. It was only a couple of tabs and it just pulls right off, and then I removed the electrical connectors. And then there is this piece of plastic that is held on by this T30 screw, so I remove that, and then this just kind of pulls free. I'm going to see if I can just work around it. It looks like there is a wiring harness that has a holder in there and a few other places, but I think I can just work around it and start pulling the bottom of the seat material off. I've got the bottom seat cushion off with the material, so now it's time to get the replacement on, starting with getting it fished through the back here and then getting it around all of these edges here and tightened up, and then we can get this back in the car. All done. A little bit of a struggle, but not horrible, as I almost trip over the tarp. It's now time to get this seat back in the car. And this job is done. This looks a lot better. After I connected the airbag wiring and the rear bolts and the seat belt, I had to reconnect the battery in the trunk, move the seat back, get the front bolts in, and job is done. So for my next repair, I am going to focus on this grab handle on the passenger side door. Remember how I said BMWs of this era had the sticky surfaces or sticky buttons issues? Well, this is a prime example. So on the next video, I will pull off the door panel, and I already have a replacement handle and material for the front. So more on that soon. Okay, so the first repair on project BMW X3 28i is complete. So now that you've seen my latest project, I hope you'll follow along, as this series will hopefully answer the following questions. Was this a good idea, or was this a horrible financial decision? How hard will all this work be for a 100% certified amateur? And will this BMW X3 make a great, reliable, and safe vehicle for my daughter when she turns 16 in a few years? So if you enjoyed this video, I'd appreciate it if you give me a like. It only takes a second and it really helps me out. Be sure to hit the subscribe button if you want to learn more about this project BMW X3, whether you were thinking about purchasing one, or if you've been thinking about a mechanic special on Facebook Marketplace, and if it's a job that you should tackle, both from the amount of work and the money aspect. So thanks for sticking around this long, and I'll catch you on the next one.